Hello, I'm going to do a quick flip through of a new deck I got. This is the Tarot for Kids, written by Teresa Reed and illustrated by Kaylee Whitman. I hope I pronounced those right. I hope I pronounced those right. I'm so good. But this is a new deck. It came out relatively recently. I believe quite recently. I didn't quite check the release date. I just found it at the store. It's designed specifically for kids, so it has some cards that are changed. Death is not death, death is change. The devil is the bully, which I think work well. Although, of course, you could argue on how the devil is interpreted, whether the bully is an interpretation that makes sense. But it's certainly one interpretation. But I thought I'd just flip through it. I found the deck to be very inviting. As you can see, look at the size of my hand. And the cards are very large. I've seen reviews that are like children couldn't shuffle them, and I think children would appreciate, though, the fact that they can really see the images clearly. So I feel like that balances out. I don't shuffle cards the way you're supposed to shuffle them anyway. I shuffle them by I just do a lot of cutting the deck because I'm afraid of hurting them. OCD at its finest. But again, it seems like a really inviting, friendly deck. I was happy to pick it up, to find it and pick it up. So let's take a flip through. Just turn them over. You can see they've done a gender change, a gender swap on some of the cards, which I think works well. You can see the change in the name, the Moon Queen, as opposed to the Priestess. There are a few adults in the deck. I feel like most of the figures seem like children, but there are a few adults. Particularly for figures that seem to have authority. Here we have the Emperor and the Rules are both clearly adults. The Rules instead of the Hierophant. Or is it the Hierophant? How often do you say that word out loud? Not that often. Here's one of the cards that's changed. It's the Best Friends as opposed to the Lovers. It's cute. The Hermit. I think the Hermit's pretty. I usually like the Hermit as a card, just in general. The Wheel's kind of an oddly empty card here. I'm used to having some kind of figure or design in the middle a little more, but it's interesting that way. Justice. Instead of the Hanged Man, we have Patience, which, this goes with interpretations of the card, so that makes sense. Check something real quick here. And here we have Death. Instead of Death, we have it's Change. Still some of the elements of Death, the Horseman and the Rider. Balance instead of Temperance. Probably because temperance is a word that small children might be like, what's that about? Here we have the Bully, which it does keep some of the devil imagery with the goats. I think that's an in-joke too with the creator, but I'm not sure. What I've heard, or what Twitter made me think. The Tower is very dramatic. Like a crown falling down. The Star, again, a very pretty card. The Moon, very traditional. The Sun. Judgment, also pretty, I think. And the World. And then we're on to the Minors. And as you can see, it's all Rider, the RWS style. Two of Wands. Three of Wands. He's got some of his wands on the ground. Four of Wands. It's a party! Five of Wands. Six of Wands. Seven. A little bit of foreshortening going on. Eight of Wands, very traditional. Nine of Wands. 10 of Wands. And then you have, I think in the book it says that her interpretation is that pages are children, knights are young adults or teenagers, and the queen and the kings indicate adults. I don't know if the figures are necessarily supposed to be adults for the king and the queen. I love these salamanders. Look at them, they're so cute, salamanders. but that's what they're meant to represent in a reading. The Ace of Cups. No, it still has the wafer. Looks very concerned, Mr. Four of Cups. I like the color scheme in the cards too. It's very clear. I always like the Page of Cups and his fish. It's quite a nice he, she. Looks non-binary kind of portrayal. Has a nice shirt there too. I would probably wear that shirt. No more fishing cups. A cup is no good if it doesn't have a fish. Kind of suggesting a mermaid there. I like this card a lot. King of Cups. I really like that one. One of the other figures, a few figures in the deck that's clearly an adult. He looks very contemplative and happy with his cup. Swords. Probably the hardest ones to make not scary. Kept Four of Swords is pretty traditional still. Five of Swords, fairly traditional too. Yeah, and the Six of Swords has little dog. The swords in general, they're really close to the norm, the model. Nightmares. Ten of Swords, they kept the body out of. Page of Swords. Knight of Swords, the young woman. Queen of Swords. Whoops, come here card. King, another adult card. Clearly adult. Ace of Coins, around to Pentacles. I like the angle on that one. I think I would have liked these as a kid. They have a nice thing. It kind of has a nice slight fantasy feel that I would have liked. This is interesting. I like that for Six of Coins. Oldest figure in the, I don't know, there are a few others that could be old too. Old guys with beards. He looks like a kid to me. I don't know if he's supposed to be, but he does. So there you go. That's tarot for kids, and I picked that up yesterday. I love how big these cards are. Look at these. Look how big those are. I don't know. I haven't used them yet, so I don't know how that would change things. But there you go. That's the tarot for kids. I thought it was a pretty deck. I like it. I was pleased with it. I was like opening a new deck and getting to look at all the different pictures. That's pretty much my favorite part of tarot, is looking at all the different interpretations of the imagery. It always makes me happy. But there you go, tarot for kids. Thank you for joining me for this flip through. Bye!